It's challenge day.
Welcome back, challengers. It's your man's Darwin Darko, and I brought with me some dope beats for you to step to. We got 5 projects on the docket as per usual. Before we get into all that, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for all the support we've been receiving recently, and all the suggestions and all of the feedback. Um, I'm not necessarily going to incorporate everything, but you take some, you leave some, right? So appreciate that. Appreciate you tapping in and tuning in. And remember, if you subscribe, you hit the notification button. I can swim my way up the timeline whenever I drop new content, new projects for you to listen to. Maybe give some some feedback on the projects, on the video, on all of that. You know, what I mean, I appreciate the engagement. So the first one up, we have Ninajirachi with "I Love My Computer." This is an EDM project, electronic music. It's got some house influence on there. Love this joint. Listen to some interviews and stuff. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Harry Styles dropped his latest body of work, "Kiss All the Time," "Disco Occasionally." Then on the third spot, we have Greenhouse with "Hinterlands." This is Hinterlands, you could say. This is like an ambient synth wave meditative sort of like free kind of music genre happening here. It's good stuff that it really hit hard for me this particular week. So we'll get into that in a little bit. Domani, yeah, Ti's kid. Domani, well, grown man, in getting into his own. He has a project called The Hot Seat. We'll talk about it in a second. And then RAYE. RAYE, we covered her sister absolutely. Actually, in the previous episode, with her project Paracosm, and that was a great, amazing project. Man, something's going on in that family, man. That DNA is just too potent for them both to be this talented. RAYE dropped this project. This music may contain hope, and I'm thinking this music may contain a Grammy. That's where I'm at with it. This joint is dope. So looking forward to discussing that. But of course, I usually have a little bit of honorable mention that I want to say up off the top. Not gonna review this project, but Juvenile dropped a joint called Boiling Point. Didn't quite make it to the level where I could warrant it. I could worthy of a review, but it was still interesting. It was still mostly enjoyable. It starts off a little bit slow, but that joint hits. That second half of that project, that thing hits, and that thing got a banger after banger. That track, BBB, um, Megan Thee Stallion. He did a remix with Megan Thee Stallion on this thing. Uh, so that track comes on there twice. The first person that is on there on the original one, I don't think she's credited on that joint. Let me see if she's credited on here. Uh, G Genesis the God. So Shorty's verse is dope. And her verse is, man, low key might be better than Megan's verse. Um, but they're both dope stuff. So I definitely recommend checking that out. One of my favorite tracks on here, though, it hasn't been getting as much publicity, is the joint with Akeem Ali. And Akeem Ali had a project that I featured. We featured his joint last year, 2025. This joint is WYM Whoa. So on here it's only got 44K spins, but that project is probably my favorite um, on this joint, and it's got this. They got this. Man, they got this back and forth rapid fire kind of pocket that they're both like double dutching over. And it's rap, it's dope, it's swagger, it is high energy. They're trying to out rap each other in real time. So definitely tap into that one. That Juvenile project is enjoyable. Again, it starts off a little bit slow, but you got to get past those first few tracks. And I think he's trying to recreate some stuff on here. We got Hot Boy Summer that's on this thing. He's trying to recreate a vibe and maybe get himself another viral hit that maybe could stand the test of time. But you think of something like back that ass up. That's a freaking that's a cultural anthem. It's gonna be tough to top that, but it's good to see Juvie still doing his thing. One of these vets in the game. Um, Also, I wanna honorable mention. We talked about the beginning of the Miami Open last time around, and it's pretty much wrapping up now. Matter of fact, today is the men's final, and unfortunately there was a rain delay, so they started off. The men's final is Yannick Sinner and Lehecka, um, and they got a rain delay. They finished the first set, and then there's a rain delay. So Sinner, of course, won the first set. I could see this joint being washed. Lehecka is ranked 21. Sinner, of course, being number 2 in the world, probably number 1. I mean, you know, if he would face Alcaraz right now, who knows? He could be. Probably, it's a coin toss with them two. But either way, he won that first set, and then there's a rain delay. So, as I'm recording, don't know. By the time I put this out, I edit and all that kind of stuff. That the results will be done. It'll be a couple of days. But man, Miami Open has been great. I wasn't able to go this year. I went last year. Uh, Man, I missed out. But actually, there's been a lot of rain delays this year. I mean, it's usually this is Miami. If you get any sort of warm weather, it's gonna be raining in the middle of the day. So it's kind of hard for you to like schedule something. Like it's like at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, you're definitely gonna get like a rainstorm. It's only gonna last like 15, 20 minutes, but you're gonna get that rainstorm. You're gonna get a washout. So these dudes are solo. But however, the women finished yesterday, and it was Sabalenka and Coco Golf that played yesterday, and Sabalenka won it. She took it. She took that joint in 3 sets. Um, at times, it looked like she could have taken it in two, and she probably should have tried to take it in two because, if you get Coco in a third setter, um, you're risking that she finds her groove in that third set, and your game breaks down. She figures you out. She's really good at that. And as much as Coco doesn't is against the five setter thing with for women's tennis, um, I think she would probably benefit the most out of all the women. She would probably benefit the most out of that. She's got the best cardio. She's got the best movement. She's got the best speed on the court. If they had to go to a five setter, I could see a bunch of other people's game breaking down on that fourth set. Maybe even she probably never even has to play 5 sets. She probably just takes it in four every time. Really, right? Just breaking people down, or if anything, at least she'll give herself a chance to get to the fifth, um, and then just win it in the fifth. But Sabalenka wasn't having it this time around, and Coco's golf is getting better. It's getting a little bit more consistent. She didn't have as many double faults as she's been plagued with. She got a new serve coach, but she wasn't doing enough on that first serve to really shake Sabalenka up. You're not getting aces. She got a couple aces here and there, but she's not getting a bunch of aces. Uh, but what was surprising is her return game. Her return game was like I don't know. Sabalenka has had better serving days, especially when she faces like Rybakina. Them two be going back and forth, on them serves. But Sabalenka's service game wasn't that nice to just really be throwing Coco off like that, and she got a lot of points off her serve. Hitting a bunch of unreturnables and some aces, and I thought Coco was pretty tough and pretty strong, and that she usually is. So it's kind of tough to see that. Well, she picked up her game on the service side, but she lost a little bit of her skills on the return of serve. So I don't know what's going on, but she got second place in the tournament. This is her home tournament. She lives 45 minutes away, right? I think she lives. So this joint is in Miami Gardens, where I grew up, and she lives, I think, in Boca or Delray. She lives Boca or Delray. She's just a little bit north of Miami Gardens. So um, she got second place. Cool. She did her thing. It would be dope to see her win it. Her being still my favorite on the women's side. I wasn't there, Coco. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I should have been there. I would have helped you out. You know what I mean? Just my energy and all that. It would have helped you out. I would have done you a favor. But you know what? I'm gonna do it next year. I'm not gonna miss it again. I'll be there next year, and we'll get you over the line. Hopefully you play it because I know it comes after Indian Wells, and then the clay season starts off right after this, and so folks, some people try to take the Miami off because of that. tight schedule there. Um, but shout out to Sabalenka. She did her thing. She's been playing great. She's the world number one for a reason. There might be a back and forth with her and Rebecca starting up. We already know her and Coco. They're neck and neck. I mean, I think they have a tie record against each other. Or Sabalenka may have one up on her now that she's got this. Oh, and also Sabalenka has the Sunshine Double now. She won Indian Wells, and now she won the Miami Open. Back to back, and so that hasn't been done since Swiatek done it back in 2022. On the men's side, I don't think it's been done since Djokovic did that. Might have been like 10 years ago when Djokovic did that, and so Sinner has a chance to do that to win the Sunshine Double, and we'll see once this rain delay is over. Like I said, as I'm recording, it hasn't come back yet, but man, shout out to the ladies on tour, and shout out to the guys on tour. Hopefully, everybody comes back healthy for the clay season. That French Open is right around the corner. Looking forward to that. The final thing on the honorable mention is I just want to give a big shout out to Afroman. His recent victory in court against the Adams County Sheriff's Office, police department here, where these fools broke into this dude's house, claiming they had a warrant for his arrest and stuff. He had drugs and human trafficking, all kinds of stuff. We're talking about Afroman, because I got high. That dude, right? Like, he ain't never hurt nobody. And they broke into his house, fucked his shit up, and so he had all of this on his security camera. He had all this on his security camera. So he does what Afroman does. He leaned into the art. So he made music out of it. He was talking about the cops on camera, just talking shit to him, just like a bunch of parody kind of stuff. Like the one that went crazy was the one that this dude was his mom made him like a lemon pound cake, and there was this one cop that was like, kind of looking at that pound cake, kind of like sus, you know what I mean? Like, dang man, that joint look tasty. I might want to take a piece, right? And so he made a whole song about how this guy was just like longing for his pound cake. He like, they already messed up his crib. They're throwing stuff all over the place. They broke down his door. He's like, are you going to help me pay for a new door? And then so he made the song about him with the pound cake. And then the funny thing is, like, people started actually sending dude pound cake at the police station, right? I find that hilarious. But so these he makes these songs about them, and they take him to court for emotional like distress or some joint. And he's like, the fuck? Like, yeah, I wouldn't even have any of this footage or make any of these songs. I would never even have to come to the idea to make any if y'all didn't break into my house illegally. Y'all didn't find anything in my crib. Y'all didn't arrest me. Y'all didn't have any legitimate warrant or anything. And y'all stole $400 from me. They stole money from the dude. And so he's trying to, like, get some kind of reparations for the harm that they did to him. And they sue him for emotional distress. So he goes to court and he wins this joint, right? And he goes to court. He do the swagged out in like a whole American flag get up, like from the glasses to the suit. You know what I'm saying? Like American flag, everything. Standing on business, standing on the First Amendment. And shout out to Uncle Luke and them from Miami, who this is like very reminiscent of that. It's a First Amendment kind of like trial sort of thing, where this solidifies it again. So that where I can me doing something like this, I can say a lot of things if I'm making critical observations. I'm making parody. If I'm expressing opinions on here, I can do that. This is all stuff falling under the First Amendment. And Uncle Luke and them, went to trial for this back in the 80s, 90s. And here we are again. And court, these people talking about emotional distress. Fuck out of here. Like, you broke down my door, right? So anyways, he won the trial. So shout out to Afroman and those songs that he made, bro, they might have never gone as viral if they never actually sued him. Y'all just brought more attention to yourself. What is this? Is this the Barbra Streisand effect? Is that the Barbra Streisand effect? what was that thing called? Is that the I forgot who it's called. The is it the where like um you make something a bigger deal when you fight the Barbara Streisand effect is a phenomenon where attempts to suppress or censor information backfire, causing it to receive significantly more publicity and wider distribution. Dummies, you stupid idiots. What are you? Played yourself, idiots. You freaking break into this man's house, um, and then you want to sue him. If you never even did all of that, you probably could have got away with just breaking into his house and stealing his $400, right? Um, I mean, maybe you would he would have still made the videos and whatever because he wants to recoup. He wants to like find a way to make some money off of this to to pay his expenses. But the fact that y'all went and sued him after that because his video went viral because he made great songs off of y'all stupidness. A dude like me knows about this now. I wouldn't have known about this. I wouldn't have known about this until y'all brought it to my attention because y'all did all this thing. It made national headlines. Dummies, you played yourself. So shout out to Afroman. Again, music related. Hey, see, we're back to music related. I know the tennis thing is just a personal enjoyment thing of mine. So I'm gonna keep on that. Y'all could just fast forward through all of that. But music is what you're here for. I'll see you on the other side. So Ninajirachi's debut album, I Love My Computer, easily one of last year's most interesting electronic releases. It dropped back in August 2025, and honestly, she hasn't slowed down since. We're talking EDC Las Vegas, a 3-show run with Porter Robinson, a US tour with multiple sold out dates, plus Spotify's Equal Ambassador Spotlight, and a nod from Rolling Stone, the Australian New Zealand branch, where she was part of the Future of Music list. The whole concept of the album is actually pretty sweet. It's all about how she grew up in like rural Australia and she didn't have much of a scene or like clubs or anything like that. And her community was built through her computer. And so this whole project um, is dedicated. I love my computer. It's dedicated to her computer and how it helped her form a sort of music community. So this record, in her way, is going back to that room. It reminds me of how when you look at the J Cole rollout, he does these interviews, and he did this interview with Apple Music with Nadeska, and he goes back to his room in Fayetteville, right? So this is that sort of kind of like tribute to the start of her origin story, right? And it's just basically telling the whole. She's pulling back from sounds that she was tapping into when she was learning her craft. That pretty much shows how she shaped into the artist that she is today. Sonically, I Love My Computer pulls from the early 2000s trance, electro clash, house era, but it never feels like she's just doing a throwback. Nina Wilson produced the entire thing herself, and you can hear it. It sounds like someone who studied the era inside out, then rebuild it with sharper tools, these new technology, the new systems right now. There's still a little bit of intentional lo-fi that's inserted throughout the project, like cracked software, pixelated edges, but the bones of that nostalgic thread is still clearly visible throughout. The genre hopping works. We're talking electro house, techno, some trap music, a little bit of trap music in there, pop, and it all flows. 4 tracks to definitely check out just to wet your palate a little bit here is iPod Touch. I really bring this one up because I was like, I saw the track list on iPod Touch. I'm like, what do you know about iPod Touch? Shorty's like 26 years old. Like iPod Touch. What you know about iPod Touch? Uh, but if she was doing her research, she was doing homework. Maybe she was one of these people. Like right now, people are getting into vinyl, and we might say, "Hey, what you know about vinyl?" But it made a resurgence. So maybe she was just deep into it like that. And so she titled iPod Touch. This one is bright. It's fizzy, instantly catchy. Feels like stumbling on an old playlist and remembering exactly where you were during that time and how it helped fuse some of the affinity that you have towards trance music, house music. I remember I was in South Beach, South Beach, Miami, man. The house music down there, Miami house is way different than the house music everywhere else. People usually call people say house music in Miami isn't really house, but there's our own little vibe that we got down there. And so that's what it brings me back to. Fuck My Computer is another dope track to check out. This is Electro Clash with Teeth. It's glitchy, it's punchy, a little dramatic, and somehow one of the most probably a little bit more of the like the emotional peak of the album. So definitely check that one out. Sisarak is another dope one. This one comes up. Where is this one on the project? Uh, where is this? Where did this one fall on the project? It is. It's the fourth track on here. Sisarak is actually the first um computer. I think what they call it, the first computer in Australia, and this thing probably was the size of like a half of I think it was the size of like a room or something like that, right? So shout out to her for doing her research into this project. It's on brand for the project. I love my computer, and so naming this track after the first computer in Australia, and then for you to like grow this attachment to your computer. So dedicating a track to that is dope. This one is mechanical. It's hypnotic. It's very techno leaning. So away from the house and probably EDM kind of stuff. But this one is very, very much techno leaning. So check that one out. It's a slow build, but it really pays off towards the mid to latter half of the track. All I Am is probably the most immediate song here. It hit number one and it was most played on Triple J. Triple J is Australia's version of like NPR music here. So it's a public broadcast sort of thing, and they hit number one on there, most played. And when you hear it, it's instantly a hit. It got those blueprints written all over it. You can hear why. It's warm, it's melodic. There's a big lift in there. If you're new to her music, I say that's where you want to start. Easy entry point for you. The vibe of this whole project is generally overall joyful. It's nostalgic. It's a bit nerdy. I'll give you that, but it's self aware, and she leans into what made her fall in love in the genre. It's almost like a tribute to these rooms and these spaces that now she gets to command. She says in this interview, I was watching one interview with like, and she's kind of listening like what she identifies more in the music making process, from vocalist to producing to DJing, and she's just not getting to her DJ bag. So she really hasn't even been DJing that much. She's really identifies more with the producer side, which is natural because she didn't really have that scene growing up. She's really starting to do more DJ sets. She talked about in the interview how like, man, if you were part of like a set that I played 3 years ago, 2 years ago, like I'm sorry, I apologize because y'all had to put up with some shit because I don't know how to do transitions. I the drops wasn't timed right and all that stuff, and the mixing just wasn't the live mixing was just not hitting right. It was just not polished, and so shout out to her for having that again self awareness and all that, right? But the production side, when she could be in the lab, which is what I love. I'm usually in the lab. I'm either writing or doing something like this. When I'm in the lab, give me time to do it in the lab. I may not be the best at the live read or the script recital and all that kind of stuff, but like put me in the lab where I could produce that joint. She comes up with some magic, and that's what she's got going on here with. I love my computer, so I love that for her. I love that it's not any sort of like escapism, but it's expansive. It's about figuring yourself out through the weird corners of the internet, through the software you pirated back when you were 14. I know I was on that LimeWire. I was on that, Netscape, getting all that stuff. Pirate Bay. Shout out to the OG Pirate Bay. Right on. Right. Through the forums and through SoundCloud, all those wormholes that ended up, shaping the taste of music that you have till today. I remember being at FIU and having like I was like kind of low key the DJ of the quad. You feel me? And so I wasn't DJing, but I had the music. I was the music curator, right? Since then, opened up the window and I was on the first floor and had the speakers facing outside and folks were coming and going, people chilling out on the quad, and it was my music. it was my music that I was playing throughout, right? And so I had to make sure I was up on game on everything, right? And you know, I never got any complaints. So shout out to those moments, man, and that shaped us from back then. Throw this thing on when you are feeling like you're doing like a digital reset. Maybe this is probably a great time to listen to it. You're reorganizing your photos, you know, or something. Maybe you got to make space in your hard drive, like I had to do the other day, and put some on the external hard drive. You know, throw this on. You got to use all that clicking and clacking. It makes it feel a bit like it's part of a ritual, right? It's part of again a digital reset, spring cleaning, if you will. This is the perfect backdrop for that sort of drill. Maybe you're setting up a new device that you got, right? You're doing the email verification and all those things. You're doing your settings right. Make sure you get the night mode and all those kind of things on there. This is a dope project. Just throw on in the background, and just vibe through and just like let it get you in that digital headspace of yours, right? And turn something that may just be a chore into a ceremony. So shout out to Ninajirachi for having this concept and for following all the way through with it. I love my computer. Maybe her debut her debut project, but it's doing exactly what she intended it to do. It's smart. It moves. It carries real emotional weight. Under the shine, there is grittiness, there is authenticity, there's like mistakes that are like, wait, no, was that intentional? Was that a mistake? But somehow it freaking works. If you grew up online and you're still trying to figure out some of these complicated feelings you have about being so prolifically online, this is the project for you. And this one is gonna hit. It's gonna hit different. Harry Styles' Kiss All the Time, Disco Occasionally didn't just land well, it landed historically. Biggest opening week for a male solo artist in the UK in nearly a decade. This thing hit number one on Billboard 200 with 430,000 units sold. This is his fourth straight number one debut. A million units in 1 week, number one in 20 countries. I don't typically go hard on numbers like that, but this is notable. The rollout left nothing on the table either. This we're talking about. He had a hometown concert in Manchester, which was simultaneously streamed on Netflix, but it's actually still available. You can go watch it right now. The crowd energy is amazing. This dude is a bona fide star. Dude put on a great freaking show. He also did double duty on SNL. He was the host and the musical guest that night. The Together World Tour, 30 night in MSG, with pre-sale numbers that broke the site. This is Styles at age 30 leaning in. This is a new sonic direction. Same instinct for melody and clearly the same pull on massive audiences. Here's what's actually happening under the hood though. Producers Kid Harpoon and Tyler Johnson, this is his core team. They're now steering hard into the electronic territory. That tapestry is layered throughout the project. He was at Abbey Road recording. This is in London, of course. Hans in Berlin, and he made another stop. Um, Shoot, he made another stop. I can't remember the other spot he recorded, but it's all a direct nod to the city's synth legacy. Over it in Hansa, Berlin, and he's got House Gospel Choir, who is also on the when you watch the Netflix joint. He's also they're up on there. Tom Skinner, John Metcalf, all featured contributors on this project. The cast adds a real texture. They're not just names for an album sleeve. This is, you know, multiple people's footprint, fingerprint all over the thing that makes it that much more of a, oh man, just like an enriching experience. The shift in the vibes for this one is him moving away a little bit from um, the city pop, that you may be used to, and leaning more into um, something electronic, something more built for the dance floor. It's still got a, it's grit. It's a little bit unfiltered. It's not super processed, and it's all shines through when you watch him working those knobs and the producer set he does like live engineering on the Netflix show. So definitely, I can't stress enough. Check that one out. The opening track, "Aperture," is the leading single. It hit Hot 100 number one. It's a leader for a reason. It opens a little bit slow. This is how you open up an album. The synth layers build. It's emotionally deliberate, and this is showing him. It's kind of seeing clearly. There's the lyrics here that says, "I've I've no more tricks up my sleeve. Game called, review the player. Time codes and Tokyo scenes. Bad boys, it's complicated, it's complicated. It's best you know what you don't. Aperture lets the light in. It's best you know what you don't. Aperture lets the light in." I heard him in the interview. He's talking about how it's clear that he had to set the stage by making Aperture the first track on this project. Um, and what he's Aperture lets the light in. It's like all the flaws that you have, all of the things the corners of your personality, of your psyche, of your evolution that you need to work on, those dark corners. Aperture lets that light in and shines it on that part and be like, you know what? I appreciate the awareness. Whether if it's a self reflection that brought on that awareness, or if it's an outside person or an outside party that's like, hey, bro, constructive criticism, or just like, with all love, I'm going to call you in. I call you out, but call you in on, here's a blind spot. And he is great at accepting that feedback, accepting that. And this is something I'm also working on myself. In my writing specifically, like, it's like I know what I want to do. I know what angle I'm taking. I know my voice, and it's kind of hard sometimes to hear somebody have some feedback. And it's not that I'm not open to criticism, but it's like, um it's low key like, who is you? You know what I mean? Like, you do you know what I'm trying to do here? If you know what I'm trying to do, if you figure out what I'm trying to do, and you're trying to help me stay true to that and make it that better, cool. But if you haven't taken the time to learn my voice and learn the direction I'm coming from, and you just want to give me some arbitrary feedback because you have like a subjective kind of preference for something, subjective doesn't work for me, because what's subjective to you is subjective to me. Maybe you have something that's objective, that's like, yeah, bro, your shit is blurry or something like that, for the world to see. Then okay, I don't intend it to be blurry, so let me fix that. Something like that, right? I appreciate that kind of feedback. But either way, being overall open to he's like opening up the project, like him being in a space where he's open to doing better and being better. I always love that kind of message, and he's bringing that off top. That's how you open up a freaking album. American Girl comes up, the second track on this thing. It's an earworm. It's top five in Hot 100 for a reason. It's bright. It's fast. Built for the crowd to shout back the hook, which they do definitely on the Netflix joint. Um, this is his pop instincts, right? It's razor sharp, but it's just filtered a little bit through a little bit of disco. Again, he's got the disco ball on the on the cover and everything like that. So it's like, dance occasionally. This is one of those occasions, right? Ready, Steady, Go is so. This is the first three tracks here. Ready, Steady, Go is the third one. This one's a little bit short. It's 2 minutes and 41 seconds, but it's like the three of them following each other is perfect, because the first track is over 5 minutes. Then you have a 3 minute track, and then the 241. You call it 3 minute track, and but then also, Are You Listening Yet is dope too. Um, but Ready Steady Go, it's a short one. It's in and out, but it is dance floor ready. Tight drums, rubbery bass, a hook that already feels festival ready, festival bound. Paint by Numbers is one of my favorites on this joint. That comes up second to last, so the penultimate track on this thing. This is one of those Berlin joints. It's minimal. It's slightly melancholy. pulsy instead of punchy. The late night in your head moment kind of lived in a space of honesty. Um, Overall, so this thing is overall. How long is this project again? This is a 42-minute joint, and man, this project is about movement. You can't sit still. It's not about sitting still. You are moving. He is big into the dance scene. This is when he's off the tour, when he's not working, he is going out. He is trying to dance. He's trying to move. Even on stage, you see him. He's got some moves. Yeah, the white boy's got some moves, doing his thing on there. But that's what this album is built to do. It's meant to fit into your actual life, into helping you produce and evoke movement in your actual life. It's dance music for people that you may not necessarily be clubbing anymore, but you still got some toe tapping to do, right? You still got some rhythm in them hips, and you need it to release. You need a release, and this project delivers that release. It's music to help you get unstuck. The dance pop with something to say. Yeah, Harry did that. It's energetic, not hollow, so it's not just a bunch of beats and a bunch of just like there's like the lyrics matter too on this thing, as I just read. It's built for communal environments. I would say the best, having being on the dance floor, being in a space where uh, you have so the probably the best place to best opportunity to listen to this joint is if you have, let's say you got kids, or just say you got a family, right? You got other people in the house. Maybe you and your roommate, and it's cleaning day. Maybe you're doing some spring cleaning. It's spring right now, right? What is right now? I'm recording on March 29th, and you throw on the coffee, maybe throw on some mimosas, but it's cleaning day, and you throw that Netflix concert up on the screen, turn the volume up, get your dustpan out, get your Windex and stuff like that, and get to cleaning. It's energizing. It's feel good music. Styles didn't repeat himself on this project, not like anything he's ever done before. He upgraded the room. He upgraded his whole catalog. This project is proof that albums still work when someone actually thinks about the whole thing holistically. Sequencing, intention, the craft. It's all waiting there for you. Shout out to the closing track on their Carla song. I don't know who Carla is, but shout out to her. This is your song, and it's a dope one. Let's talk about Greenhouse and their new record, Hinterlands, dropped on March 20th on Ghostly International. The LA-based duo Olive Artizzoni and Michael Flanagan, they've been quietly building one of the most distinctive catalogs in ambient music, in current times. Echo conscious, texture forward, genuinely weird in the best way. They started with intimate plant inspired compositions, and they've been expanding that world ever since. And the rollout to Hinterlands has been quite a journey. The single Farewell Little Island arrived with visuals. This is an awesome music video. Check it out on YouTube. Um, Very simplistic. It sticks with the theme of everything. It's like this macroscopic, macroscopic visual. So it's like these water droplets, which when you look at the macro, it's like it's the Yosemite nature preserve that's pictured in there. Um, and so it's you do a droplet, you can see the world. It's so that kind of is really interesting. The Inyo National Forest is where that's housed, but the and it's all manufactured into this miniature world, as you can see through these droplets. And the droplet reflects what the album cover is showing. It's a gorgeous album cover. I've seen the vinyl. I'm thinking of copying the vinyl because it's a wonderful art piece. It's beautiful. It's got the bubbles on there. Well, these are water droplets, but and there's the sun, like sitting right there in the center. It's they got the blues, the spring colors and everything. It's gorgeous art piece. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe adding that to the collection, low key. Um, but man, they are marking this release with they also had a live streaming event at the Bob Baker Marionette Theater in LA. A whole puppet show, my G. A whole puppet show. That was like an interpretive dance kind of puppet show, um, featuring the project. And of course, it's being ambient music. It's sort of like a sound stage for an event like this. The Bob Baker Marionette Theater, it was founded in 1963. It's the longest running puppet theater in the United States. And they actually designated it as a cultural monument in LA in 2009, looks like. But then they actually moved it in 2019 to a permanent home on York Boulevard. So if you're in LA, check out the theater over on York Boulevard. They have this new marquee and everything, a brand new marquee. It's like it's a huge kind of setup they got there. It's gorgeous. They do all kinds of events for kids and stuff, and all kinds of other live performances. So that's dope. That it's so on brand. It's it's so on brand for Greenhouse to to make that their with their album release, and to partner with that organization to do that. So that's dope to see. This is probably their most ambitious project yet, running at 37 minutes. You got 12 tracks on this joint. Let's talk a little bit about the craft because the album is built with real intention. They layer acoustic textures over high definition synths in a way that feels genuinely alive, not just nature sounds over a drone, which ambient projects can tend to do, just like a lot of repetitiveness. Artisoni brings the melody, Flanagan brings the harmonic architecture. This thing altogether is cohesive. We're talking genre fluid by design. There's folk, you'll get a bit of tropical synth pop, lounge jazz. This track, Awakening Dawn, very much jazzy. There's like the slight cymbals that are just like clashing, and just like the piano. It's heavy on piano on that track. So definitely check that one. There's even like a hint of film score on some tracks, a mountain flute on others. Somehow, it all feels cohesive. It doesn't feel like just some throwing darts at a mood board. It lands into building up this continuous environment that they're setting up. Every track moves, it breathes. It's like it feels alive. Um, and again, not like a lot of the loopy kind of ambient projects that you're used to. Their composition shifts, it evolves in a natural sort of way. It grows, it builds gradually, then all of a sudden, all at once, kind of thing. Track to jump into the number one, the opening track here is Sundogs. This is a bright, clean opener. It's short, it's melodic. It feels like walking into a sunlit clearing, like a nature, like you're in a nature walk of some sort. Farewell, Little Island is probably my favorite on this thing. This is was released as the single, and there's the visual for it. Like I said on YouTube, you can check it out. This song reminds me of something. I can't quite, and maybe it's a good thing I can't quite remember because this could be like one of these like sample snitching sort of things. But I'm like I feel like I'm hearing maybe Iron and Wine, maybe like a little bit of Iron, an ode to Iron and Wine, um, happening there. I can't quite place where I'm hearing the the inspiration or the melody from there. But I love that track, and that is probably one of those things that's like, oh, yo, this is an earworm from something that like I had a while ago, and they're tapping into that. So I love that track, Farewell, Little Island. This is the third track on the project. Definitely check that one out. Emotionally, it's easy. It's an easy one to love. It feels familiar. It's a perfect entry point. Hinterland number two is the eighth track on this thing, and man, I really like this track. I wish it had its own title. The shifting harmonies here, it builds this gentle momentum. You have Hinterlands one, Hinterlands two, and Hinterlands three, and Hinterlands two is just so unique. It feels like it feels like moving through some unfamiliar terrain. It feels unique, and it feels the sound is such a unique journey. I wish it had its own title, but this is the artist and how they chose to sequence this, and title it. So I can't quite make out what the purpose is or why it they feel like it's a continuation of one, two, and three, and like being that middle child there. But it really stands out in and of itself, and I really love it. So you check that one out. Will of the World is another dope one for you to step into. This is going to be the longest track on here. This one is 5 minutes and 7 seconds. And you have a couple tracks here that are over 4 minutes, so it's a good chunk of time. 37 minutes on this thing. A nice little walk, nice little journey here. This is the longest track. It's spacious. It's meditative. It's never static. Their world building really opens up here, and I suggest tapping into their energy and their creativity and what they're building in. They on Instagram you can find them green underscore house 1976 and see some more visuals and to get a little bit more kind of into the universe that they're building here. So, what does this thing actually feel like? It feels like a joyful environment music that doesn't demand your attention, but somehow it makes it worth your time if you choose to lean in anyway. It's bright, it's hopeful, it's curious. It can sit in the background, but it also rewards active listening. I'm thinking a dope scenario for like consuming this thing is like a botanical garden. I have the national botanical garden here in DC, and this feels perfect for something like that. You're talking like going through the different rooms, the different stepping into a different biome, and that biome has its own energy. You're walking around across plants that you're not used to. Some you're seeing weird growth now because it's a different season and everything, and they're growing differently, and there's new flowers and there's new growth, um and it almost feels like stepping into like outer space a little bit onto a different planet when you step into different biomes, and the songs kind of can carry you through and narrate you through that experience. So maybe go there when there's like an hour before closing time. This is only 37 minute listen. Go there before an hour before closing time when like there's not many people around, people are leaving. You can kind of have the space a little bit to yourself. Maybe you walk by somebody here and there, but like you can lock in on being in the moment, and this will be like sort of like your escort through all that, man. The energy in Hinterlands is going for it. It's going for a unique experience. It's going for uh, warping you into a new environment, getting you out of the mundane, and it earns it. It earns your listen, and you should definitely give it a listen from top to bottom. Domani is back, y'all. Back with Hot Seat, and it lands exactly the way a good album should, like an artist who finally stopped waiting for permission. 9 tracks, no filler, no guest list flex, just clarity. And the rollout is deliberate. The project dropped on March 20th, off the back of a few singles that hinted at a shift. Less promising Nepo baby from Atlanta, more fully formed storyteller, someone who actually has something to say, a story of his own. The conversation around Domani has been changing quietly. Hot Seat is proof of that. He's still Atlanta, ain't no doubt about that. That's not going anywhere. But this project pushes past the zip code. We're talking leaner bars, more adventurous production, a real willingness to sit in the uncomfortable moments without flinching. Check out his interview with Cam Newton. I don't remember the name of Cam's show, but I'll put a clip right here. Um, and man, I love to see some artists in these long form joints that actually have something to say, that actually have thought about the work that they've been putting in, and the answers to some of these questions. Nothing in there is cookie cutter. Nothing in there is it's not even like media trained. It's like no, he's just being honest and talking like a real human being. I feel like Cam tried to set him up in a couple spots. It's not a malicious kind of setup, but like these questions, like Cam was throwing some typical questions at him here and there that like you would throw at artists to give them like, the alley oop, the lob, the easy lob. But he was giving some really introspective. Like for example, why did he doesn't wear jewelry, he doesn't wear logos, right? He's carving his own lane, even though he grew up with that kind of stuff. It's not like he can't afford it, right? And he's giving real interest. This is an artist who's been thinking about the way he wants to move. He's been thinking about his life and his entry into this whole thing intentionally. Damani is carving out his own lane, separate from his father's. building his own legacy without diminishing the one that he comes from. So a little bit about the craft. What's happening here sonically is um, is deliberate spacing, and the space that allows the lyrics to breathe on here is done intentionally, giving the whole album a confessional, almost one-on-one type of energy. It's the type of thing that like maybe like you're interviewing him and he's answering these questions, just the way kind of like he was doing with Cam on that interview there. It's only 27 minutes, so it's a quick and easy listen. There's not any long tracks on here. We have a couple that are two verses and stuff like that. It's pretty short. I'm not sure if he's I'm pretty sure it's a full length album. It's not his well, it's 27 minutes, but it's got 9 tracks, so it qualifies as an album. But I'm not sure if he's considering it a mixtape or not. But every track feels like a scene in a short film. It all feels intentional. Not a single track is really trying to be the highlight. He's not trying to carry the whole project off the back of one track. However, Firebug is on here. Firebug is his diss track to 50, and that one's doing the numbers because it's that dope. So, but I'm hoping that folks see that track Firebug and it helps them to jump into the project as sort of an entry point because it's in there and it sort of fits. The vibe fits. I'm not sure if no, I think it overall fits. It's not easy to put a diss track. Like I can't see Kendrick having put "Not Like Us" on GNX, but Firebug. When you listen to this whole project, and it's called Hot Seat, you know, he puts 50 on the hot seat there, and he sort of like not he sort of what's that term? I want to say I keep thinking strips him down, but that's not what like he like strips him bare pretty much, and it just like puts 50's whole like timeline and lineage on Front Street, and it feels like a sort of meet the Grams moment on there. So I would definitely check out that track and let that be your entry point, and then start it from the top. Start from the top, the very first track, first session, and let it play through. But the second track is really what got me into it. So this is the second track on there. It's called Shedding Skin. This is pretty much the thesis statement of the project. Domani sounds like he's working on something here in real time. It's honest. It's rhythmically sharp. The production is stripped back, so there's nowhere to hide. It just works that way. ATL, Never Scared, is it could be a single. It's one of these anthems for your city, sort of thing, and it's dope because shout out to Bone Crusher. He samples the "I ain't never scared." I ain't never scared on there, right? And it's a definitely an anthem for the hometown there. And the beat freaking knocks. He keeps it personal, reflecting over his growing up and his like his just his presence and what the city means to him and what his family means to the city, which gives a lot more credit to the track than just bravado. To him, like, oh, I'm from ATL, better. I'm from this town, which is better than everybody else's town, sort of thing. No, it's a more of an homage, and I appreciate that sort of angle there. It's a choice that he did that, and I think it's a smart choice there. Again, shout out to Bone Crusher, man. I ain't never scared on that joint. That track, Telephone, is the fifth one on here. I definitely say that this is a good one. He's giving a J. Cole sort of vibe on that track, Telephone. It's a little bit of a slow burn. He talks about missed calls here. It's a little bit talking about themes of emotional distance. This is the quiet awkwardness of a relationship that is slightly out of sync. Uh, it could potentially even be like a spiritual conversation that is slightly out of sync. He says here, I mean, I trust in you, but it's never been tested. I mean, I trust in you, but it's never been tested. So I hope that what it is so I can get the message. Know I got a gift. I can relate to the kids with questions. Know I'm filled with guilt. I take the blame before I point the finger. Knowing what I'm dealt, why would you play it like I got the best hand, knowing how I felt? Why would you put me here with no directions? Life, you are a part of this life with no directions, no instructions, instructions necessary, but none provided. I'll tell you that much. Knowing I'm not healed, why would you put these people here to test me? Knowing that I kill to show the real and let the rest be less than. Knowing I'm a tilt, I hate balance. I've been running from it. Knowing how I'm built, why would you try to take my mama from me? Why would you even threaten me with that? Why would you even threaten me with that? Shout out to Tiny. Shout out to Ti. Man, you raised a kid, man. Domani that is introspective. Everything that I've seen from him, the way he moves, the way he's approaching the game, he's not trying to he's not a nepo baby. He's not. He's getting it out the mud. He's doing it himself. He's carving his own lane, and he can easily. His dad always with the name brand, always with the jewelry and all that kind of stuff. He don't do none of that, right? And not to say that's good or bad, but just to show the evidence of him trying to do his own thing, trying to carve his own lane. Why would you threaten me with that? Trying to take my mom from me? Like unfortunately, dude, everybody's got to go sometime. And long live Tiny, that she didn't, that you still got her in your life. But I just had a buddy who lost his mom, and I lost my mom many years ago. Uh, and one of the things that I want to say to him is like, you know, I'm sorry what you're going through. I know what it's like, but you never really know what it's like. You're not in those person's specific shoes. You can relate, I guess, but it always feels a little bit presumptuous to feel like the level of relationship that they had, it could even have been a bad relationship. And maybe they didn't get a chance to say the things, to get the things off their chest before the person passed, before their moms passed. Or maybe they were super close. Maybe there was a mama's kid or something like that, and they're vulnerable to spiraling because this person was their freaking cornerstone. This person grounded them to reality, and now they're gone. So you can never truly fully relate. You had a mom, they had a mom, your mom is gone, their mom is gone. So you think that like it ain't that simple. It ain't that simple. Um, and Domani was wrestling with this potential happening to him, and and good for them. He didn't have to go through that, but he's questioning God. He's questioning his whole his belief system here. They're like, why would you put me through that? Why would you put me in those existential crisis positions where I have to like, how am I going to survive without this person? This is the type of message you're getting from Domani. Like you would think, like, man, shout out to Ti. You did a good job with the kid, man. He's reflective. You did a good job with the. Well, he's a grown man now. He's got a kid of his own. But Ti has always been underrated in his lyricism, in his production, in his music choices. King of the South, indeed. And who gonna test him? When he said that, I mean, right now, he's a elder statesman in the game. But in terms of a cop, in terms of a Godfather of the South, he's Godfather level, right? Am I right? Who's gonna test him? Who's gonna check him? Ain't nobody gonna check Ti. I mean, and to be coming in under that sort of shadow is freaking tough. And Domani is making great decisions here, and I love to see it. Long live Domani, and hope that he like stays true to himself, um, and that he keeps this up. One thing that I do want to tap into a little bit. I don't want to give in a little bit of negative energy to this, but this is kind of important. This track here, Firebug, is the highest streaming one on this project, and it is a diss track. Okay, we saw what Kendrick did with his diss tracks with his whole battle with Drake. This is part of hip hop. Jay-Z just had this interview where Jay-Z's talking about battles to maybe go away from hip hop, but nah, bro, you can't have that. First of all, you got battle rap. That's part of hip hop. And I don't know if he's exactly talking about battle rap, but Jay-Z, you talking, you got to clear up your language. But I'm just going to address and say, what you talking about kind of reckless, because battle rap is a staple of hip hop. We need that. Got to have it. I always talking about who's the number one. I'm the number one MC. Who's the top three? Who's the top five? Whatever. You people conversations every 6 months. We're gonna get somebody put out a list. Either it's double XL, or if it's Breakfast Club, or whoever else, somebody's gonna put out a list. You know what I mean? Rap Radar, top five this, top five that, and whatnot. It's just part of it, right? And so a rapper in a hip hop artist is always gonna like have that sort of, they're gonna drop that line somewhere. There ain't nobody better than me, right? So battling is like gonna be a part of hip hop, hands down. What Jay Z was, if you want to give it a nuanced take, what Jay Z was talking about is that um the way that the social media is set up now is like the tracks, like imagine you doing the verses, right? When you're doing the verses, the tracks got to stand on their own too. You know what I mean? It's track for track, track for track. And so back in the day, it might have been a little bit more track for track. But then low key, like you had the blog era. Low key, you had the magazines that was even more had an even more full hold in hip hop back then, right? The Source, you know what I mean? And so you had the Source Awards and all these, right? And so um, even when BET Music was lit, right? Um, so you're gonna have the audience participation always gonna be part of that, right? And so maybe he's a little bit of an old man yelling at clouds kind of sort of thing, but let me let me step back and say this. Forget all that. Not like us, the crazy numbers, and Kendrick was hot for that. That one of the tracks in that whole back and forth that's very underrated for me. That is the most poignant of everything going back is Meet the Grams. And this track from Domani, Firebug, and this back and forth with 50 Cent and T.I., where 50 is going back and forth with T.I., and then like he's posting up Tiny, you know what I mean? And after Tiny, went through this, Domani has something to say. The South has something to say. And Firebug is the Meet the Grams of this back and forth, of this rap beef. Uh, I I don't see it getting anywhere out the booth. So shout out to Joey Badass and all them for giving us the example of and daylighting them of how we can do this rap battle, rap beef thing, keep it in the booth, keep it music, right? Um, but Domani has something to say. And this article here, written up at what is it? What is this? This is from Shatter the Standards, which was reviewing this album. But they kind of talk about the. So I'm just read the first couple little bit here to talk about this project. The T.I. and 50 Cent feud is the noisiest thing in rap right now. A failed versus battle spiraled into memes of Tiny Harris, four diss tracks from T.I., and then his sons getting involved. King Harris dropped drop top wearing a t-shirt. All the tracks was pretty dope. The 50 didn't drop anything anyway. Wearing a t-shirt printed with 50's late mother's face. The older brother went further. Domani Harris, 24, T.I.'s eldest, with LaShawn Thompson, released Firebug, a near 4-minute track sampling Outkast's 2000 hit and addressed directly to 50 Cent's mother, Sabrina Jackson, who died in an apartment fire when Curtis was 8. He followed it with Pussy, interpolating G Unit's I Smell Pussy over a Turbo beat. Shout out Turbo. Both songs sit on hot heat as the 6 and 7 joint, surrounded by material that has nothing to do with 50 Cent. Firebug on paper, one of the more shocking diss records a rapper's kid has put out. Domani, I mean, like rapper's kid has put out. That's kind of, I don't even know why you write that sentence. How many times has that happened? But okay, fine, whatever. Domani doesn't scream through it. He starts by asking Sabrina Jackson if she's proud of how Curtis has held her family name, and the full calm of that question gives the song its teeth. Cat's got 9 lives. One more will ring the bell, he says, referencing the 9 times 50 was shot, and the line doesn't rush past itself. Lets the math sit. He calls 50 a firebug, connecting him to the fire at his ex-girlfriend's home, and by verse 2, he's calling Curtis illiterate and bringing up Daphne Joy's abuse allegations. Pussy goes harder and sloppier. Turbo's beat, shoving Domani into a faster pocket where he trips over some of his punches. The Eminem bar, what the fuck is this? Is this your man's? It's funny, but the Marquise Child support reference and the Daphne Joy name check carry more weight. Their source not invented. Miss Jackson is the stronger record, like I was saying, like Meet the Grams. Domani controls his pacing and his fury on it, and the Outcast sample gives the whole thing a ghostly quality that a turbo bounce just can't replicate. Read the rest of that article there. Again, it's shatterthestandards.com. Is hot seat review that they got there for this project. Um, so what does this whole thing feel like in general? It's compact, it's intentional, it's introspective without turning into a therapy session. Domani is confident on this project without being loud. This is what it sounds like when someone does the internal work. He sounds very much. He sounds like a grown man. I especially appreciate, like, I'm really not a fan of Cam and his interviews, and but like, you take somebody like Domani to really take some of those questions, some of those like elementary questions that Cam is putting out there, and turn them into something um, more existential, something a little bit more thought provoking. So I appreciate him for doing that. Just like, okay, you're gonna give me this scrub to interview me, fine. I'll go ahead and tackle this and give him even deeper response that he even asked. So I suggest watching it because of that, because he gives great responses, and he has great insight into what's going on in his world and his music making process and everything. The best time I would say to play this joint is when I don't know, maybe at the end of a long day and you're driving through the city, you're driving across town. I don't know if you've been back home or you had some project you're working on the other side of town, but you're by yourself, crack the windows down a little bit, let this thing bump it, in the trunk. You're giving your brain some room to process what you're going through in this season of your life. Hasi is that, sits in that perfect window. This is for those in between hours when your head finally slows down enough for the beat to drop. The bottom line, Domani isn't trying to outshout the playlist era. He's making the case for his own space, quietly, confidently, and the intention shows. Hasid is a young artist growing up in public and navigating it with real mastery. Raye is one of those artists where, if you've been paying attention, nothing she does surprises you anymore. And yet somehow she keeps raising the bar. Allow me to set the scene. This is the opening lyrics to the project. Allow me to set the scene. Our story begins at 2:27 a.m. on a rainy night in Paris. Cue to thunder. Autumn leaves blanket the concrete. The sky is dark. A woman in her late 20s walks from a bar to her hotel. She has no umbrella. She is 7 Negronis deep, and she nurses a hole she is desperately trying to fill. Starts off the project with a monologue with the orchestra in the background. You knew you had to strap yourself in. I was like, okay, she's gonna do this shit to me again. This is her sophomore album. This music may contain hope. It dropped this week, March 27th, when I'm recording. This thing is 17 tracks. It's a full concept project, full arc, the kind of ambition that makes you wonder what everybody else is doing with their time. Um, Quick recap. Last time I talked about Raye was in 2023. That was her debut project. Since then, she left her label. She went fully independent. She won 6 Brit Awards in one night. Picked up a bunch of Grammy nominations. She sent that track "Escapism," which I talked about back in 2023. You know what? I'm gonna have to like put a link or something, or a clip or something in here with 070 Shake. Shout out to 070. And this track, "Where's My Husband," that's on this project. Both of these tracks in the freaking stratosphere. She's selling out arenas. Um, 6 nights in. She did 6 nights in O2. She had a U.S. tour. She brought her sister out, absolutely, which I featured. Um, Actually, last episode, absolutely has an amazing project. It's just not fair, bro. It's just not fair for a single family to have that much amazingness. In something going on in that DNA. They cheating. They out here cheating. She freaking had She was with Bruno Mars. She did it was on that tour there. But man, I'm sorry, Ray is not in no soft girl era. She is out here, LVs on y'all necks, and is just like milking this momentum, and that's the energy she's coming with to kill the freaking game. If you're not coming with this kind of energy, like, what are you even doing with this sort of mastery of the art? This much energy, 3 years for this. Like, hey, shout out to J. Cole and everything. Like, that project was nice. The fall off. It took you 10 years to do that. She did this in three. She did this in three. I don't need an album every year from my artist. I'm not that type. 3 years is great. But you give me 3 years and you come out with this, I I don't want to gas it too much, but you should probably stop this tape right now and go throw that thing on immediately. I could even just stop recording right now and just be like, go ahead, just off them vibes alone. But I'll continue. She's not playing it safe. 17 tracks. This thing it asks you to commit about an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes to consume it all. It's structured around 4 seasons. It's a full emotional journey, darkness to light, and it earns every minute of your time. Talking about how this album actually sounds is important because she makes some genuinely breathtaking like choices on this that a true artiste has to be at the helm to pull something like this off. It's structured like a freaking film. 4 seasons, four emotional chapters. We're talking about from winter through spring, heartbreak, through renewal. You feel the shift as if you're walking this journey, like she's guiding you like through this journey, and you're walking it with her. The collaborators on here are wild to think about. Hans Zimmer, freaking Hans Zimmer, in the orchestral production, crazy. Al Green shows up mid project. Al Green, you didn't expect that, did you? You didn't expect that though, did you? Al Green for a soul duet on this thing. The London Symphony Orchestra, a full gospel choir here. It's a lot. It's a lot going on, and it works. The genre range is insane, from big band, swing, jazz, brass, orchestral pop. We're talking R&B moments in this thing. Musical theater energy, heavy, heavy. I told you the whole thing started off with a freaking monologue, and it ends with a. It ends with She is reading the freaking. When you go to the movie and they have the credits rolling at the end, she reads the credits out. She reads the credits. And it's freaking compelling, and it's compelling because Hans Zimmer is still doing his thing in the background with the orchestra and the violas and everything, and just freaking crescendoing and falling and taking you through those movements. This is freaking crazy. The musical. I mean, maybe I'm a little bit biased because I'm a big fan of musical theater, but man, if you're into art, if you're into music, you have to appreciate the production that's going on in the thing. And remember, she's part of the production. She's the main part of the production. She's the lead on all of this. This thing moves around, it jumps around, and somehow it keeps it all together. A few tracks to jump into if you're not gonna do the thing that I'm recommending, which is start from the top. It's a movie. You wouldn't start a movie from the middle, but fine. If you need a taste, you probably heard already the track "Where's Your Husband." That joint been doing numbers. But the track on here that's like the most compelling to me is the is let's see, is this the longest? What's the longest? It's the second to longest because Nightingale Lane is pretty long too. This joint is 5 minutes long. Click Clack Symphony. It's legit featuring Hans Zimmer. He's not in the background. He is like prominently featured. The music is prominently featured on this thing. Click Clack Symphony, and there's a video. Because you know what time it was. This joint was that compelling. This joint was that dope. There's a whole video for this, so go check that. She is in full showrunner mode on this one. It's a little bit funny. It's bold. It's theatric. It feels like a chase scene, almost like in a movie, like this big dramatic thing that's happening, and it ends with this crescendo. The visuals are dope because she's on the mountaintop, and it's like a spoken verse, almost part of the song, poetic in in all of the her presentation with it. It's amazing. Goodbye Henry, the one with Al Green. This is a cross generational soul moment that never feels like a gimmick. Al Green brings the warmth, Ray brings the story. The production here ties it all together. Where's My Husband? Everybody's familiar with that by now. This one has been doing the numbers. It already has 163 million spins, and that's just on this platform. So this joint already been doing the numbers. Probably already double platinum, whatever, right? You already know this one, right? There's like big band energy on this track. It's like a Broadway level drama that is. And how long is this thing? It's only 3 minutes. Damn, it feels so much bigger and bolder than that. But it's pretty much Broadway. It's built for Broadway. I could see this whole project being a Broadway play. Somebody could really write a script around. Man, I should write a fan fiction about this joint. I should write a whole fan fiction story about this project. It's an hour and 13. If I write a musical centered around this, because you remember how Beyonce had Lemonade, and there's been several other projects like that. Yeah, that I can make that joint. I can make that joint about 2 hours. 2 hours because you add a little bit of dialogue here and there. I could do something with this. I feel like I could do something with this. I don't know, because it's just ready made. It's ready made. Especially that specific track. And then you got a track like Joy that's on there. I'll get into that in a second. But like, where is my husband? She's saying here, why is this beautiful man waiting for me to get old? Why he already tested my patience? I only fear he's taking time with other women that ain't me, while I've been reviewing applications. Wait till I get my hands on him. I'm telling him off too. She already mad. She already mad. She coming to you mad like, nigga, where you been? Where you been? I've been waiting on you this whole time. And like, you're perfect. Get over here, right? On some Scorpion joint, right? For how long he kept me waiting, anticipating, praying to the Lord to give him to my loving arms, and despite my frustrations. Um, that could be a high moment, a high art in the storytelling of whatever play. Maybe I end up writing a play for it. But it's also overall a family affair, because Joy is on here. Joy is the 15th track on this thing, featuring her sisters Amma and Absolutely. Already got 160K spins on this thing. Absolutely, again, love her. Go to her project, Paracosm. It's not fair. There's so much talent in one freaking family. This feels like a ready-made Pixar track. This track was already made. Like, just slap it on. I just watched this movie, Hopper. I don't think that's Pixar, but Hopper I definitely recommend checking out. It's an animated movie about environmentalism and things like that. And I could see that joint, dropping in on there, dropping in right there, right? Just throw it in there, ready made, coming to a theater near you. The whole family takes part in this. Again, Grandpa is on the final track on this thing. Her grandma is in the opening track, I believe. She's in the opening track, and she gives us some words of affirmation. There's words of affirmation throughout this entire thing. It's empowering. It's empowering to anybody who listens to it, specifically to women, though. But like for anybody, you can find something in here that just encourages you, that gives you, that sparks your creative energy. I love that, because it's just like it. It's a type of project that not only builds on itself, but others can build upon it if you have the internal fortitude intestinal fortitude that like she goes to with this, and like believing in herself, being independent, believing in herself, and just like going hard and just pulling that thing all the way through. This is there's a personal intimacy that she's invites us all to listen to on this, and the cinematic choices are just bold, and it's just very encouraging when you see people do what their heart sets them out to do, um, unapologetically. This is the kind of project that's more of an event. You gotta listen to this. If you're a music fan, you're in for a treat. Run it back multiple times, which I've done, because there's like nuances in every song. Every song is a journey. Every song has all kinds of nuggets in there that you didn't catch the first time. If you're a person that enjoys a story, that enjoys film, and you can just like an audiobook, It's almost like an audiobook. Just listen to the whole thing, top to bottom. Trust me, all the way down to the credits. She can read a phone book, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. This is cinematically British, emotionally honest. It's funny in spots. She is someone who's been, it sounds like someone who's been not holding back, but she's been like maybe like journaling or like collecting along the way. And this is her freaking final release. This is best experience um, in a space where you can pay attention to it. It's not the type of thing I would suggest you be distracted for. You're gonna miss moments. The first several times, let it wash over you. Per- May, if you gotta go for a hike, get out in nature. Let the signal drop. Put your headphones on. Put your phone on do not disturb. Throw this thing on. It's an hour and 15 minutes. Walk, go this way for what 30, 40 minutes and walk back the other way for another 40 minutes, 45 minutes to back to your car. And you tell me you haven't been changed. Tell me you haven't been expired. I dare you. Ain't no freaking way. It's a project that you have to travel through. And you have a freaking tour guide. Ray. Ray is on here. She has her freaking her band of misfits. You know what I mean? Hans Zimmer, her sisters. Um, Al Green coming along for the ride with you. Why not? What better company? What better company? Bottom line, Ray is building something real here, and I don't expect to get anything back from her until 2029. Another project until 2029. Take this on tour, turn this into a Broadway show, turn this into um, an amazing. I've already seen the some productions she's done where it's just it's a full production. It's already a full production. So this is going to be take some time for society to catch up and digest. This was she finished it in 2025, and it finally released here in March. So she's been working on the nipping and tucking that bit on the edges, but it is a freaking masterpiece. Okay, I'm gonna have to do this. I haven't, so I don't do 5 stars. Be, because I'm like I don't really believe like there's like a perfect album out there. The only album I've given a 5 star to was D'Angelo's project Black Messiah posthumously. That's the only one I've ever done it for. If I give it 4 stars, so let me give you some insight here if you haven't been paying attention. I think that's a Grammy worthy production. I think that is a Grammy, at least nominated, at least a Grammy nominated worthy production. If I give it 3 stars, I think it's a great album. I think it's worth your listen, of course. I love it. Uh, it's just not quite that level where it's like world breaking like that. Um, you won't see any 2 stars, so only 3 and 4 stars. I think I might have to do it on this. This is a perfect album. This project is a perfect project from top to bottom. It's cohesive, it's storytelling, the lyrics are amazing, the performance is great, the production is out of this world, not skipping any beats, any meals. It's thought out. Oh man, there's visuals for it. This this may be the best album. This may be what is it? What year is it? 2026. Ray has just put out album of the decade. Straight face. You're gonna catch up later. You know, welcome. I'm from the past. You're somewhere in the future where you finally got hip to this. It's like those people that caught up on Prince like mad late. And like, oh, he's great, he's a genius. Or even D'Angelo, like I mentioned before, D'Angelo, mad late after he died. I'm telling you to tap in now. This is the best use of technology, of advancements in musicality. Um, this, I mean, since 20, this is of the decade. Like, there's nothing, nobody's gonna do anything better than this for the decade. Since 2016 to 2026, or from 2020 to 2030, I can't see a project being this perfect. There's nothing that is possible. I don't know if it's possible. I think I'm gonna give this 5 stars. I'm gonna have to give it 5 stars. I haven't done this before. I haven't done this before, and I don't want to be like I know I'm gassing it. But it is worthy. It's the only album I've ever reviewed, and I've loved a lot of. It's the only album I've ever reviewed and I've ever listened to that's like on first listen, I was like, this is fucking crazy. On second listen, I was like, she did not just do this. How? How does one individual have this vision and then execute it like this? Not gassing it. No extra sauce. No extra sauce. Every second of this project is a freaking masterpiece, and it's worth your listen. It's intentional. This music may contain hope. This project may contain a Grammy. Are you listening?